Today is one of the saddest days in my lifetime. It seems like a bad dream that you just want to wake up from. It's a nightmare. I know we all feel the same way about such a great leader, just a great champion, just a great person. If you got a chance to know Kobe, you got a chance to really know Kobe. Ain't nobody better, man. Kobe, thank you, man. Thank you for all the memories. We got a lot of good ones. And these tears that we're crying, we're gonna miss you. And it's not gonna go. It's not leaving today. A week from now, a month from now, a year from now, we will forever miss you, man. You're our legend. You're our icon. You're our father. You're a husband. Your son, your brother. Your friend. Thank you for being my friend. I love you, brother.
Kobe was an incredible family man. He loved his wife and daughters. He was an incredible athlete and a leader in a lot of ways. He inspired a whole generation of young athletes. He was one of the first ones to leave high school and come into the NBA and do so well, dominating the game and becoming one of the best scorers that the Los Angeles Lakers has ever seen. I had the privilege of being there when he scored his 81-point game, and it was something that I will always remember as one of the highlights of the things that I have learned and observed in sports. Kobe, my thoughts are with you. Absolutely. Rest in peace, young man. This loss it's just hard to comprehend.
I'm just devastated by this news. And to watch him transform his life and career from this iconic player to have an enormous career in the media business, and to see him with his young kids, his young daughters, the joy that was in their eyes looking at their father, who obviously they loved, to the attention he paid to them, to his getting involved in promoting women's basketball. This was a man for all seasons. He was more than an iconic basketball player. He was someone who inspired millions of fans, not here in this state, not here in the United States, all over the world.
Adam Silver, NBA commissioner, with this statement. The NBA family is devastated by the tragic passing of Kobe Bryant and his daughter, Gianna. For 20 seasons, Kobe showed us what is possible when remarkable talent blends with an absolute devotion to winning. He was one of the most extraordinary players in the history of our game, with accomplishments that are legendary. 5 NBA championships, an NBA MVP award, 18 NBA All-Star selections, and 2 Olympic gold medals. But he will be remembered most for inspiring people around the world to pick up a basketball and compete to the very best of their ability. He was generous with the wisdom he acquired and saw it as his mission to share it with future generations of players, taking special delight in passing down his love of the game to Gianna. We send our heartfelt condolences to his wife, Vanessa, and their family, the Lakers organization, and the entire sports world. Stephen A. Smith joins us now. And Stephen A., as we see the icon himself, Jerry West, the logo in tears, you understand the gravity and the weight of this. This is a young man that you began to cover as a high schooler, who you saw become a star and a retired and very comfortable, happy man in life. As you try to make sense of it at this late hour, where are you right now with this?
Where everybody else is, complete devastation. To know Kobe the way that a lot of us did, to know his brilliance, to know his intellect, to know his commitment to excellence, and the fact that he wanted to motivate and inspire just a generation of people to be similar, of a similar ilk. To see him gone at the age of 41, knowing that he had so much life ahead of him, it's just devastating. And when you think about it, I mean, he and I were together on New Year's Eve. We were partying together on New Year's Eve, actually. It's the last time I saw him. We were supposed to meet a few weeks from now. He was talking about, you know, a life that was just getting started. So many times we see professional athletes and there is a struggle to try and find, to capture what life is going to be like beyond their playing days. This was an individual that was looking forward to the end, at least a couple of years at the very least, before it had all come to an end, because he was planning and plotting a new path for his life. This was not a guy that was struggling to find what his new path was going to be now that his career had ended. To see him gone today is nothing short of devastating. It truly is.
I share that sentiment, and especially, Stephen A., I marveled at the passion that he was investing in the next chapter. So many struggle to figure it out. Not only did he find it, but he was thriving in it. And he looked at people like Magic or MJ as what they became afterwards. He had his sights set on the Jay-Z's and the Oprahs. He'd be a billionaire with a B. And I mean, those paths seemed like they were available to him. He was pouring himself into it. And I think it's just so gutting to think of what might have been. Do you believe that perhaps his best act would have been his next act?
Possibly, quite possibly. It's hard to imagine, considering the fact that he's a 5-time champion,
Right,
an 18-time All-Star and what have you. But what I can tell you as a point of fact is that he believed the best was yet to come. He wasn't somebody that dwelled on the past and said, look at what I accomplished, I'm finished. That wasn't his thing. His attitude was, I've got a whole life to live, so let me go out there and conquer new challenges. That was his mentality, to anybody who had any kind of potential, go for it all. That was what he believed in, and that was what he was all about. This is why you see so many people crying and so many people so upset that he's gone, because they know what he did for them. They know what he did for their lives. I was on the phone with Shaquille O'Neal just a few hours ago, and he was crying. Magic Johnson couldn't hold back tears. The list just goes on and on. People are either crying, they're speechless, or they're both, because we know that we lost an iconic figure. And Jerry West, speaking as eloquently as he spoke, with his eyes bloodshot red as they can be, clearly crying a lot today. We all understand where he's coming from, because anybody that knew Kobe Bryant spent some time crying today, including myself.
Stephen A., time's our most precious commodity. We appreciate you sharing some with us. Our hour here, realize we've had a few hours to try to make sense of this, and it still makes no damn sense at all. Yours is a very tightly knit brotherhood in the NBA, and as you all around that game tried to process this throughout this Sunday afternoon, how do you describe what the emotions were that you and your friends were sharing?
Well, devastating. Initially, Scott, I can't lie, when the TMZ information was initially reported, I promised myself I wasn't going to text anybody, email, call anybody to see if it was true. I was really just in a state of shock, because I just came from Philadelphia celebrating LeBron James as he passed one Kobe Bryant in his hometown of Philadelphia on the all-time NBA scoring list. I was fortunate enough to play against him in the NBA Finals. I cover each time as a member of the media he made it to the NBA Finals. Played against him for a lot of years. Happily will be a stepping stone, a footnote, the nail to his hammer when he scored 81 points versus our Toronto Raptors team. There's no accident that he has 2 numbers, retired at the Staples Center, and for a guy to score 60 points in his final game, and then seem to ride off in the sunset, and a handful of years later, win an Academy Award. He's coaching his daughter's basketball team. She was on the plane with him, Scott, 13 years old. My heart just breaks thinking about the fact that his wife, Vanessa, now all of a sudden have 3 daughters, and she lost her husband and her oldest daughter. Like, it's just really devastating news, and it's so very sad to deal with.
What was it about him as a competitor that separated him, Jalen, from others?
When we say compete tirelessly, that's what he represented. Bring it every practice. Outwork your opponent. Bring it every game. That's what he did. And if you ask any person affiliated with the league, that was not phony. That was legitimate. And that's why